All right. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm local albino and my collar is very crazy today and I don't know why it's like that. It came out of the wash it came out of the dryer and it was just um crumpled, I guess. I don't know. And we're dealing with it. It's my favorite shirt. I wore this in the last video. Leave me alone, okay? There's like so many other things you could be wearing right now and you're worrying about the fact that I'm wearing the same shirt in two different videos. Okay, leave me alone. I washed my shirt, all right? Now that that's out of the way, um, you saw the video, you saw the title, you know what this video is going to be about. Quentin Tarantino's and my issues with Pulp Fiction. I watched Pulp Fiction for the first time like last week, and was not what I was expecting it to be. But to be honest, I don't know what I was expecting. I knew zero things about the plot line. I just knew that Uma Thurman and Samuel L. Jackson was in it. I didn't even know John Travolta was in it, and now I'm fascinated by his existence because of this movie. I'm not like in love with him, I'm just fascinated by him. He's such a fascinating thing. Anyways, I should have realized that this movie was not made for me when the only people telling me that this film is like the most amazing film in the entire world are teenage boys and male film teachers. So I should have kind of deduced that, but like, dumb dumb I decided I was gonna ignore the red flags and just keep going. Um Little synopsis of this movie. This movie discusses the different ways people or express or different ways people see death. And it's a nonlinear plot. It focuses on a day in the life of two hitmen and a boxer who killed his opponent in the ring. So it's, just a really light, easy film that you could watch for the whole family. I'm kidding. Please don't watch this with your family. Oh my gosh. We'll get into why. Let's talk about the women. I'm convinced Quentin Tarantino has never met a woman in his entire life. I'm convinced. And if he has, or at least while he was writing this movie, if he has, I don't think he's ever respected them because these female characters are some of the least like realistic female characters. They are completely one-sided. They do not have like they have one thing that's their personality and like that's it. Let's focus on Fabine first. She is the worst female character in the entire movie. All we know is that she's French. She is forgetful. She's dating Butch, which is the boxer, and she likes breakfast. That's all we know about her. Like, I understand she's not a main character, but is there any way we could have made it so she at least seemed realistic? Because in my personal opinion, I think even side characters deserve to like have realistic characteristics and not just be one-sided, you know what I mean? I don't know. If I were to write a script, I would spend a lot of time um focusing on I gotta move my phone, it just buzzed and I don't know why. Uh Even if it's just a side character, I want to have the idea that the character was fully developed in the mind of the writer, which I don't think Tarantino cared about the female characters. Let's talk about Mia now. Mia Wallace. She's the wife of the like the mob boss, I guess, which is the two hitmen's boss. And one of the hitmen, Vincent Vega, John Travolta, which I will be calling him John Travolta because I don't want to call him Vincent Vega. uh, John Travolta is told that he has to basically babysit Mia Wallace, and they do a lot of or Mia does. He doesn't really. We don't see him do it, but I would like to assume that he probably did partake a little bit. I don't know. Her character reminds me a lot of the character Lady Bertilac from the Arthurian legend story Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Both of these female characters are basically, in a way, being babysat by someone else who is afraid of their husband. And both Lady Bertilac and Mia Wallace it's implied that they want to, like, sleep with the guy. So, it was just an interesting connection, and it really helps prove my point of Quentin Tarantino. His views on women are extremely outdated. Also, if you don't know, Arthurian legend is like King Arthur, Sword and Stone, that kind of stuff. Like spam a lot. If you know what spam a lot, you either do or don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so like literally, her character is just there to make John Travolta's character look more like a real person than a character, which I hate. And because all we know about Mia is that she and doesn't know how to control herself. That's that's pretty much all we know about her. Now, the last issue I have with the way females are presented in this film is the bathroom scene when they're at that little cute diner, which I want to go to that diner. That actually kind of seems like a fun little diner to go to. The one where they're all dressed up as like famous old people. That seems fun, and they're in cars. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. Literally, it's just a Ruby's diner, but like cooler. Um, the scene where they're all in the bathroom, like, what? I don't think Quentin Tarantino understands the reason why some girls go to the bathroom in groups. It's not because, they just want to like talk. Usually it's because they're afraid of being alone, because we have seen in the past that when women are alone, they are more vulnerable, which means some men think it's their right to take advantage of that. So that's why women typically go to the bathroom together. That's the original, like, that's where it stems from. People do it now. Sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to go alone, like I want someone to be with me so I'm just can talk. But like, I don't know, it just felt so fake. The scene just was, there was like 20 girls, POV, you're the mirror watching all the girls. Like, I get it, so you could see that happen, but why? I think it would have been such a better scene if it was like Mia went into the bathroom stall and did it, and there were, she heard two other girls come in and they were talking and went to the bathroom or something. That would have been a better scene, more realistic. But, you can't win them all. This film the film itself isn't racist, but this film could be submitted as evidence as to why Quentin Tarantino is racist. Yeah. White people shouldn't say the N-word. Period, right? Like, that should not be something that should be said. Also, I don't know if you can hear my family, like, being family, living in a house, and I don't live alone, so you guys get to deal with that, okay? Leave me alone. But white people shouldn't say the N-word, right? I was a little thrown when I heard it the first time, even though I believe it was probably said by Samuel L. Jackson. Like, it was still written by a white man, which for me just gives off weird, I don't know, it made me feel kind of uncomfortable. Like, this wasn't, you wrote that, but why? Like, to make a black character realistic, you don't have to have them say the N-word. Not every black person says the N-word, like. But what really made me upset was the scene where Quentin Tarantino makes the awful decision of putting himself in the movie. His performance, for some reason, reminded me of the worst director ever, Tommy Wiseau. Like, Quentin, I don't need to see you. You gross me out. He grosses me out. I would never want anyone I love near that man because he freaks me out. He's just icky looking, right? And like, didn't him and Trisha Paytas, like, date for like a fat second? Wasn't that a thing? I don't know. There's a picture of them together on the internet, so I just assumed that they dated for like, even if it was a short while, I assumed that they dated. But he just seems like a gross guy, and this movie is like a perfect example of that. So when he comes onto the screen, I'm pretty sure he says the N-word like 4 times, and he says hard R at least once, which is just so obvious that he just wanted an excuse to say the word. Which I don't understand people's fascination with wanting to say it. Like, it's something that's gonna hurt someone by saying it, so why would you say it? Why would you say it if you know it's something that is going to hurt someone and has hurt people in the past? I don't know. Those people have those people either are very unaware of the severity of that word, or they are choosing it because of the severity. Only J's. And want to hurt someone, which I think is like, don't be an a-hole, okay? Just don't. It's just not cool. It's what? Like, I don't understand why someone would want to cast themselves in a movie where they then say the N-word and they're white and they wrote it. It reminds me of when an English teacher's like, so now there's going to be an N-word, and I'm just going to say it because it's written. I don't personally agree with it, but I'm just going to say it. Like, then don't say it if you don't agree with it. You don't have to say it. It doesn't enhance the writing. It doesn't make your writing better by having the N-word in your script. So that's my issue with that. The script almost feels like Quentin Tarantino had a word count he had to get to. Like, therefore, and I, there after the opening scene and the opening credits, I want to say it's a minute and 41-second scene talking about hamburgers and how they're called different things in different countries. Um, I don't care. Like, Quentin didn't have to put that in. And I know the argument would be like, well, but hamburgers come up later when they, like, shoot the people. But that doesn't even have to be in it either. That was so irrelevant because those two parts were only there to tie each other together. If that was taken out, the movie wouldn't be as long, and I maybe would have enjoyed it a little bit more, because watching 2 hours of just like Quentin Tarantino trying to figure out how cool people act is boring. And I mean, it wasn't boring, I was just really angry. A 2 hour movie took me 3.5 hours to watch because of how many times I had to pause it to just be like, okay, this isn't like, you understand Quentin Tarantino is like not a good person. Just like keep watching because you need to you need to finish it. Like I'm the kind of person that like has to finish a movie that I start, even if I'm like having the worst time watching it. I'm like, I have to finish it. I have to, because I need to know if it gets better. Yeah, but that hamburger scene, if it was removed and it was just like a scene that existed, I would assume it was written for SNL. Because it's like kind of funny, but like I wouldn't laugh at it. But I see how it's like funny. That's my view on SNL right now. Like, I understand that it's comical, but I don't laugh at it because I'm not in, I don't, whatever. The last thing I kind of wanted to talk about is the one part I don't want to talk about. Credit where credit is due. I believe, my personal opinion, every film has at least one good thing in it. You can find one thing that was good about the film or one thing you enjoyed about it. For example, we could use The Room, again, the Tommy Wiseau film, The Room. Bad film. It's a bad film. I think the script was awful, directing is awful, acting is meh. But it's so fun to watch. And that's what's good about it. It's fun to watch that movie with your friends and laugh, or it's fun to watch it on your own and whatever. But it's a fun watch, okay? Every film has something that is entertaining, and that is why it's a film. Well, that's not why it's a film, but that's why it performed well, because there's something about it that's entertaining. And the one thing that I actually really enjoyed about this movie is the opening and the closing scene. This is the scene where they're in a little diner. Samuel L. Jackson's character and John Travolta's character, they're in a diner. They're just sitting, they just killed people. And yeah, they just killed people, and then they cleaned blood out of their car, and now they're in like random t-shirts just sitting in a diner. But you don't find out they're at the diner until the last scene, because the opening scene is these two people, Pumpkin and, what's the other one's name? I don't know, Pumpkin and the girl, I think. The two, if you know the film, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, you probably will never see it, and it doesn't even matter, so don't worry about it. But the female character is actually the same actress that plays Wires in Catching Fire, and if you're a Hunger Games fan, which I am, I love Hunger Games. I have, like, I love Hunger Games. That'll be a whole nother video. But yeah, it's just it was interesting to see that, but I think the way that he did those two scenes were really incredible, and I think it would have been I would appreciate Pulp Fiction so much more if it was a 30-minute short film, just the opening and closing scene, because I think those were beautiful. And when in the end, when Jules is expressing how um, his relationship with Christianity has grown just within the past 24 hours, is a really incredible scene. And you see his, the juxtaposition of, I have a gun, but I'm telling you how I'm not going to kill you. And that one verse in Ezekiel, I think it was just beautiful, beautiful decision. And it makes me so mad that those two scenes were just so good. Because I'm like, oh man, I really wish that there was a way I could realize that, like, these suck and I can just hate on everything and nothing about it was good. But there's always one good thing about a film. There's always at least one good thing, and the good thing is the opening and closing scene. Actually, there's two good things. The second good thing is the opening credit song. Oh, I love that song. Maybe that's just because I'm from Southern California and like a surfer. I'm My city is like a beach city, so we've got a good surfing community and everything. So that song is just like ingrained in my childhood. But yeah, I do have to give Tarantino props for that first and last scene because they were really like they were just really good scenes. So if you ever want to see this movie but you don't want to see it, watch the first and last scene. They work perfectly together. Yeah. So rating this film, I do rate all of my films out of 12 because 10 just doesn't feel like enough to me. So I rate them out of 12. This film I would rate, I did do it this one out of 10 for some reason. I don't know why. I gave it a 3 out of 10. I would have given it a 1. But the first and last scene, man, just got me. So yeah, that's my discussion on Quentin Tarantino and my issues with Pulp Fiction. There are many more issues I have, but some of them I probably shouldn't be talking about on YouTube because they probably are not that appropriate. And, if you see the film, I'm sure you could come up with many, many more issues you have. But those are just the ones that I wanted to talk about if you haven't seen the movie, to know that before you go into it. Or if you have seen the movie, you can agree or disagree. And I'd love to hear your opinions on it. If you love it, tell me why. If you hate it, tell me why too. Tell me why so. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want to hit the like button, you can do that. If you want to hit that subscribe button, you can also do that. I'm a TikToker, and I'm looking more into switching to YouTube just because the platform itself on TikTok is becoming not the best place in the world, not a place that I necessarily like. I have to debate if I even want to be on that platform anymore, if I want to be able to, if I want to support TikTok and give them money by being on their platform. So yeah, subscribe if you want to see more interesting videos about me talking about things that interest me and things that don't interest me and things that make me mad and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a really long, awkward ending. Thank you for watching.